Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to this launch of the Trash Hack Action Learning for Sustainable Development, a Teacher's Guide. Thank you so much for joining us online today. One positive side of this pandemic is that we, with more ease than ever before, can meet virtually. And through this campaign, UNESCO's Associated Schools Network and the Foundation for Environmental Education, FEE, bring tens of thousands of schools around the world together online. I wish to thank FEE for your hard work in launching this campaign and our many years of partnership. Our two organizations together can help create a community whose actions can spur a movement and actualize change. And change is imperative. Each year, the world produces more than 2 billion tons of waste and takes far beyond the natural resources of our planet that our planet can produce. If we continue to live the way we do now, by 2050, the equivalent of almost 3 planets would be needed. This cannot continue. We as humans need to urgently reorientate our relationship with the natural world. This shift starts with education. And as many of you joining us today know, education has a huge capacity for change in society. It affects the way we think, what we value, and how we act. No one knows this more than teachers, many of whom are now frontline workers risking their health to ensure education never stops. Teachers are agents of this change, for what, where, and how you teach will allow future generations to face the challenges of today and the future. And it is for this reason that UNESCO launched the Trash Hack campaign and produced this teacher's guide that we are here today. So what is a trash hack? It's coming from life hack. A trash hack is a small thing that you can do to fight waste, which brings about big ideas for the planet. And we want you, schools across the world, to join UNESCO and FEE and start thinking about small actions you and your students can do to fight waste. Make it local, reflect on your circumstances, and act. And this last part is essential. The guide we launched today has lots of examples of actions which will cement knowledge and inspire future ways of change. And we invite you to share your trash hacks with us, and we'll share them with leaders and policymakers at the World Conference on Education for Sustainable Development, which will take place in May this year. For when schools, teachers, and students come together from across the globe, the world will listen, and we can create systemic change, the systemic change that our planet needs. I would like to thank Japan for the generous support to UNESCO and your commitment to education for sustainable development. And I'm pleased to pass now the floor to Mr. Ishida, who is the Deputy Secretary General of the Japanese National Commission for UNESCO. Over to you, sir, and thank you, and I hope you'll have a fruitful meeting.
Okay, thank you for kind introduction. I'm Ishida Yoshiaki, Director for International Strategic Planning, Ministry of Education of Japan. On behalf of our ministry and also Japanese National Commission for UNESCO, I would like to congratulate on the launch of the Trash Hack Actions through broad network of the ASP.NET and express my warm greeting to all the participants today. My deep gratitude also goes to the colleagues of the ESD section and Unit for ASP.NET for their hard work on this campaign. Japanese government has been supporting ESD activities implemented by UNESCO through the Japanese Funding Trust on ESD since the decade of ESD started in 2005. As a donor of the Trash Hack campaign on ESD, we are very happy to support this launch webinar and would like to ask the active participation from member countries. I believe waste is a good example of the typical sustainability issues to learn complexity, diversity, and interactivity of sustainability issues and can be a catalyst for future generations to start learning these global common challenges, consider what they can do, and transform their actions toward the realization of the sustainable community, society, and the world. Each action seems to be a tiny change, but for sure it will change the world if we can mobilize collective efforts from everyone of you. Today's webinar encourages students and teachers in ASP.NET schools to engage in the trash hack activities. I would like to give one example implemented by ASP.NET School in Tadami Town, where located in mountain area. Students learned about the plastic waste in ocean as global issue and took research and discussed what kind of action they could take. And they created a paper bag made from old newspaper and distributed to stores in their town, with the reason that and encourage people to use the recycled bags instead of new plastic bags. This activity started from the school and changed the minds and actions of not only students but also people in local communities. In this context, I believe school is the best place to start transformation of individual way of thinking and actions in a dynamic way. And this transformation could eventually create a big global movement toward the sustainable society. This is why Japan has strongly promoted ESD at school level. We will continue working on ESD in Japan and also contribute to mainstreaming ESD globally through various support to UNESCO. Last but not least, let me conclude by expressing my confidence that today's launch event will provide ideas how to engage in the trash hack campaign and start ESD activities at school. Thank you very much, and I wish you a fruitful event.
Good day. Hi, my name is Julie Saito. I'm the International Coordinator of ASP.NET Associated Schools Network of UNESCO. And I'll be moderating the webinar today. Today, UNESCO and FEE, Foundation for Environment Education, bring together over 1,000 students, teachers, practitioners, and members of both global networks from across the world on Zoom and YouTube to join the global call for action to trash hack. As you see on the screen, my personal trash hack is to bring a lunchbox with chopsticks every day. I mean, of course, when we resume the normal life, and I look forward to that. And I'm sure that each one of you have your own way of trash hacking. Well, let's now start with some housekeeping rule. If you are joining us on Zoom, you can access simultaneous interpretation from English into French and Spanish. Please click on the interpretation button to choose your preferred language. If you're listening to English, you don't have to touch anything. Just those who would like to listen in French and Spanish, please click those buttons. The event is live streamed in English, French, and Spanish on YouTube. The links are also given through chat. Ask questions throughout by into the question and answer function on Zoom and via the chat on YouTube. The chat is disabled in Zoom, and we will provide you with further information and links to follow up after the meeting. Next slide, please. We will be also using Mentimeter today to ask you questions throughout the webinar. I wonder if we can, Simon, can you show us, Eric, can you show us the screen, please, on the Mentimeter? Yes. So the first thing you can do, I would like you to connect to this Mentimeter. If you have the smartphone, you can use this QR code, or you can type in www.menti.com, and code number is listed there, 3605379. And I would like to ask you questions. Where you are from, which country you are from. I wonder if you're receiving many answers now. Well, let's move to the next slide while I think everyone is typing in the country that you represent. We would like to receive as many Mentimeter later on throughout the webinar. Okay. Next slide, please. I would like to go over the program of the webinar today. Hello? Can you hear me? Okay, thank you. So I would just briefly take you through the program today. The goal of today's webinar is to learn about the guide for teachers, Trash Hack Action Learning for Sustainable Development. To be empowered to participate, celebrate and share your trash hacks, and to get inspired by all day, already across the world. So in session 1, my colleagues Lily and Andrew, the guide for teachers, and in session 2, Gosia Lusek, director Young Reporters for the Environment, will provide with useful tips to celebrate and share your trash hacks. Well, in session 3, students and teachers from Kenya, Northern Ireland, UK, and Indonesia will share their inspiring activities and learnings to invite you to join trash hacking. After that, we will have a Q&A session if you have time left. So keep asking your questions through that chat box. We will post all of our replies on the Trash Hack website after this event. And at the end, Ms. Jun Morohashi of the Section for Education for Sustainable Development will then give the closing remarks. Now, let us start. Trash Hack. Lily, Katja, and Eric, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Julie. And just quickly, let's go through to see what our answers for which country are you from came up. So in the Mentimeter, you can see here, we have lots and lots of different countries represented. We've got people joining us from Greece, Turkey, Germany, Denmark, Montenegro, Poland. And it's great to have you all here with us via the chat and via the Zoom and on YouTube. And thank you all for joining us here today. So hi, future trash hackers. My name is Lily King, and I work for UNESCO's section of Education for Sustainable Development. I am just wanting to introduce you to my trash hack as well. So my trash hack is to take my own containers and jars to bulk stores to start cutting down on plastic packaging. Now, I want you to go again to the Mentimeter at mentimeter.com and access again via the QR code or through the code on the screen there and mentimeter.com, and let us know how many bins do you separate trash into at your school? So how many bins? So some schools will have one type of bin where they put all of their trash. Some schools will have a recycling bin as well as a bin for compost as well as another bin. How many bins do you have at your school? All right, well, we wait to have those come in on the chat now. And let's have a look. So we have, most of you are looking like you have 3 bins. Lots have 4, lots have 5 or more, and very few only have 2, have 1 or 2. So that's really great to see, and that's really good to know for a starting point. So we all throw things away. And all too often, the attitude is out of sight, out of mind. But trash leaves a trail, and this trail leads back to us and the choices we make as producers, consumers, and human beings. It connects to problems like biodiversity loss, destruction of nature, and climate change. The guide we're launching today is filled with motivating infographics to help you understand the issue globally and start acting locally. For example, did you know that the total solid waste generated per year of the planet is equivalent weight of 13.5 million blue whales? And if all of that waste was put on the back of trucks, it would stretch around the world 24 times. Now, worryingly, 99% of the stuff we buy is trashed within the next 6 months. We focus a lot on plastics in the guide, because although plastic seems omnipresent now, its use has increased 8-fold in the last 60 years, and that's only growing. This is a concern because only 9% of the plastic we use is recycled. The rest is burnt, ends up in landfill, and only 3% of this ends up, and 3% of this ends up in the ocean. We have no real idea how long it will take to break down. So all of these stats are concerning, and we know that change needs to happen, but it can be kind of hard to work out where to start. This is why the UNESCO has launched the Trash Hack campaign. When it comes to tackling the world's trash, as I say, it can be hard to know where to start, but Trash Hack encourages young people to make hacks, small steps to reduce our waste, increase our understanding, and be part of transforming the world. We know young people are already learning online and through social media, so the campaign takes education on waste to these platforms. UNESCO's education sector launched the website trashhack.org on World Cleanup Day in September last year, where young people can share their tips, tricks, their advice, their trash hacks, and their journeys fighting waste with each other and the world through #TrashHack. And today, as you know, we launched the Trash Hack Teacher's Guide. We're proud of the guide, and it gives inspiration to start trash hacking schools too. The guide provides you with motivating information and practical ideas to engage in action learning on how to view trash not as the stuff we throw away, but as indicators of who we are and what we value. The guide was created to help students develop the core learning competencies of Education for Sustainable Development, or ESD. These competencies can assist people to have the tools to tackle the problems of the present and future, to address the climate crisis, and to be part of being change makers who can achieve the 17 Development Goals, or the SDGs. These are the ambitious plans agreed to by the UN member states as part of Agenda 2030. So the action-based activities in this guide intend to help you engage with waste but also contribute to fostering cross-cutting ESD competencies in the 3 dimensions of learning. The cognitive dimensions, which help students' heads understand sustainability challenges, explore disruptive and complex ideas, and find solutions. Socio-emotional dimensions, which help their hearts build the core values for sustainability, empathy, and compassion. And behavioural, teaching their hands to take action. So this guide, like Education for Sustainable Development, encourages learning for the environment, for sustainable development, for the SDGs, with the head, heart, and hands to transform to the society we need to be. We have translated these dimensions into the action-based approach for transformative learning. You'll see this throughout the guide in all the different ideas and activities. The 4 components to this project-based learning approach are observing, acting, reflecting, and celebrating. Observing is about looking at your current situation as a starting point for action. Like when we asked about your school's recycling system, that's a great example of observing. What's the status quo in your area? Acting is about acting. It's about exploring, experiencing, and engaging with your environment through action. And this works particularly well if you support your students to take charge of their own learning by deciding with their actions, by shaping, creating, problem solving, taking risks, and learning from failure. Reflecting is about creating opportunities for individual and collective moments of pause to think together. It should allow for multiple perspectives and alternative explanations to be heard and considered. And when it comes to last but not least, don't forget to celebrate. It can be an important moment to come together and share and celebrate your achievements and learnings. Involve your peers, parents, community members in celebrations, the more the merrier. As this can also be a great way to increase impact. We'll be giving you heaps of great ways to celebrate with our partners YRE and later on in this. And all of these are actually explored in every single exercise that you'll be taken through. But these cannot be always linear. You can observe, act, celebrate, reflect in any order you like. And in the guide, we encourage this in lots of different ways, but we want you to actually be inspired by your local situation and your students as to what works best. So to go further into the guide, I pass now to my colleagues, Katja and Eric, who will take you through. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Lily. Good morning, midday, and evening to you all. It's very moving to see so many friendly faces from all across the world and to be able to connect with you around a shared aspiration to trash our lives and our world. My name is Katja Anger. I'm a project officer in the unit for ASP.NET at UNESCO headquarters. And my trash hack is to make plant pots out of old plastic bottles to grow cress, coriander, and other herbs for cooking. I do this with my 3-year-old to show him that we can repurpose throwaway items and make something valuable out of them. And every day we look at how the seeds sprout and grow until they end up on our plate.
Greetings from Paris. I'm Erik Eschweiler, and as a former teacher, I'm very excited about the fact that hundreds of students and teachers joined us today, and that you will get active to trash hack your schools, homes, and communities in the coming weeks. My personal trash hack: I'm trying to refuse all kind of cups and single-use plastic bottles and to bring my own reusable thermos jug to work.
Now let's go to the 3 main thematic areas of the guide around which the activities are built. They are responsible consumption and production, life on land, and life below water. For each thematic area, you will find an introductory text focusing on the issue at hand, a set of complementary infographics, and several ideas and activities for trash hacks.
The activities feature diverse learning environments and interaction formats and require different time, starting from classroom sessions up to project weeks. As the world is still facing the global pandemic due to COVID-19 and schools are widely closed, we are also included ideas for remote learning from home.
Okay, so let's go to the first chapter about responsible consumption and production. It concerns our use of the Earth's resources and how to address the fact that every year we produce and consume a lot more than what our planet can regenerate. In this chapter, we're talking about having the opportunity to make an important choice, to rethink how we consume the world's resources, and to create purpose and meaning by taking positive action for ourselves and other living beings on the planet. But of course, we also included some infographics that show us the state of the world today and some of the difficult questions we need to ask ourselves. Let me show you a few here. Okay, here it comes. Did you know, for example, that in 2020, humanity had already used up all the resources nature could regenerate for the year by August 22nd? So science clearly tells us we're over-consuming our world's resources. And while we are generally over-consuming as one humanity, there's a deep inequality within. While 2 billion people go hungry or are undernourished, 2 billion people are overweight or obese. So we really hope that through this project and the guide, you and together with your students, you can question and reflect together about such tensions and dilemmas. Another infographic you will find in the guide is this one, and I hope it shakes you up as much as me. 1 garbage truck of textiles is wasted every second. So that means since Eric and I started to speak, there were already 350 garbage trucks of textiles wasted. When you think that it takes 2,700 liters of water to make 1 cotton t-shirt and 7,500 liters of water to make a single pair of jeans, that is a lot of water wasted. So we need to consume less, that is clear. But we also need to reimagine the life cycle of a product so we can move from a linear to a circular economy. A circular economy is based on the principles of designing out waste and pollution, keeping products and materials in use, and regenerating natural systems. And this is very important because 80% of the environmental impact we have today is determined by decisions made in the production of goods. You may think, what can I as a teacher or student change about production of goods? Well, maybe more than you think. We as individuals can be agents of change. We can choose to buy less, and we can avoid buying products that are harmful to people, animals, and our environment. We can even find new purpose and meaning in that for ourselves. And what is more, we can vote for environmental politicians, support a campaign, or participate in a demonstration. Our political say matters. And if a critical mass of us do this and we connect with each other, taking collective action, we can have an important influence on political and economic decision makers and to make sustainability also their priority. But let's now hear about some ideas for action.
Within the section of on responsible consumption and production, we give you 4 example activities. Wasting waste, using the 6 R's of sustainability to reduce waste. We will have a detailed look at this one in a few seconds. Artworks from trash, an activity about e-waste and about raising awareness for trash issues through created artworks. T-shirt to tote bag, the transformative power of do-it-yourself, an activity focusing on repurposing and upcycling of waste. And wasting waste, no way, wasting food, no way. This activity leads to active steps to avoid food waste at the school level. Each activity is structured in the same way. As example, wasting waste is focusing on the individual consumption and our production of waste, and it is a good activity to start your trash hacking. The activity is introducing the 6 R's of sustainability. Rethink, refuse, reuse, repair, repurpose, and as last option, recycle. The learning outcomes are students will be able to record and reflect on the amount of trash generated during 3 days and to develop ways to apply the concept of the 6 R's to own and school community habits, to curb consumption and to reduce waste. This activity is designed for 3 classroom sessions over 1 week, including homework. The location is school and at home, the interaction format, class and individual. Each activity follows the action-based approach for transformative learning. For wasting waste, it starts by observing and exploring together with your students on how much recycling is currently being done in your school. What else could be done in addition to recycling? Time for action. Your students will fill in a consumption diary in which they list the amount of trash they generate at home or at school. Discuss their results, introduce the 6 R's, and brainstorm together on ways of applying those in daily life. As homework, ask students to document if and when they apply the 6 R's. Let them share their ideas and steps of action to inspire each other. You could invite your students to reflect by asking, why is it sometimes so hard to change habits? How did you feel when you applied the 6 R's? How could we engage the entire school in applying the 6 R's? How could we even have an impact on companies to rethink and redesign their products? Celebrate by creating a mural of ideas for the school on how to apply the 6 R's and invite everyone to contribute. You could even invite a local politician to engage in a discussion on the role of politics to change consumption habits. Or just make a great video on the 6 R's. Just be creative. Katja, back to you.
Thank you, Eric. The guide's second theme is about life on land. It relates to Sustainable Development Goal 15. And as you can see here, again, you have an introductory text to the theme and then a number of infographics, which I would like to show you now before Eric takes us through a few more trash hack activities. So with increasing population pressure paired with overproduction and consumption in some parts of the world, we're facing the challenge to avoid moving from here to here and to here. Because currently 1 million species are at risk of extinction. We've lost 85% of our wetlands in just 300 years and 16% of our total tree cover between 2002 and 2019. That is 16% in just 17 years. That may be the same age and lifespan as some of your students. Trash pollutes our land and smothers the soil, which negatively affects plant life and wildlife, as well as our own health. And because of overconsumption and production, more and more land is cleared and consequently biodiversity is lost. And as you know, trash can take a long time to decompose. Plastic bags can take 1,000 years to decompose, and the world uses 500 trillion of them every year. So let's join forces and work together to inverse this trend. Eric, back to you again. Please tell us about the action we can take.
Thank you, Katja. So within the section Life on Land, the guide provides 3 example activities. Landfill in a bottle. This is an experiment. Your students will analyze and monitor how waste breaks down by creating a simulation of a landfill. Trash reporter role play. Here, your students will interview the school janitor or local politicians about the waste management of your school and illustrate the gained knowledge by creating a role play. And trash-free flower zone. In this activity, your students will create such a zone to raise awareness on the habit of littering and shall try to engage the entire community.
So let's go to the third thematic focus of the guide, life below water. We chose this as the third focus because the waste we produce, and in particular plastics, have a detrimental impact on our lakes, ponds, rivers, and the oceans, on which we as humans and animals rely for our food, energy, and water. So let's take a closer look at some of the infographics we included here. Our oceans cover 75% of the Earth's surface. They're the lungs of the Earth and generating most of the oxygen we breathe. They also absorb 30% of greenhouse gases and therefore act as the main climate regulator. But unfortunately, each year, an estimated 8 million tons of plastic end up in the ocean. That's equivalent to 1 garbage truck dumped into the sea every minute. And it's predicted that in the year 2015, there will be more plastic than fish in the sea. This is a wake-up call. We need to act, and you play an immensely important role to engage your students in taking action, learning by experiencing, and making the right choices for each and all of us. So let's create and find a new purpose, working with and for each other. Eric, tell us more about what we can do.
Yes, thank you, Katja. Maybe a cleanup day would be a good starting point to take action on waste and reflect on wider sustainability issues. So this activity, the cleanup day, is focusing on the pollution of waterways. Together with your students and their parents, you will clean up a nearby lake, river, or coastline and exhibit the collected trash to the wider public. Or you do the water bottle pledge. Your students will organize a campaign to stop the use of single-use plastic bottles within your school. So let's get ready to trash hack by following the trash hack checklist. Get informed by the background information and infographics provided in this guide. Get inspired by the suggested activities and by going to trashhack.org/schools. Adapt them to your local context, students' ages, and the current situation due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Feel encouraged to create your own activities and projects to trash hack your school. Think about who you want to involve: your parents, your students, maybe colleagues, school staff, local politicians, or NGOs. Define the goals you want to achieve with your trash hack. Important is, all those activities given in the guide are only starting points. We are looking forward to see and learn about your projects. Ready to go? Katja will give you some more information on how to participate and join this global call.
Yes, so we put together a timeline for you. So when you look on the left side, today and right now, we're all together in the global launch event. Following this meeting, we will send you the PowerPoint we're presenting right now, as well as the recordings of this meeting. We will also send you the link to the website, trashhack.org. And under the school section, you'll find all relevant information to participate. You'll already find the English guide there, and the Spanish and French versions are coming soon. If you then decide to trash hack, then following this webinar, we would like to invite you to go to the website, download and take a look at the guide, get inspired, and start thinking together with your colleagues and students about what you want to do and start trash hacking. Then meet with us again in early February when our partner, the Foundation for Environmental Education, will host a short training for students and teachers on documenting and creating great contents of your trash hacks. And this will be adding to the tips that you're about to also receive from Goja. And then share your trash hacks with us in April. Again, on the Trash Hack website, under the school section, you'll find information on how you can share your trash hacks with us. Based on what we will have received, we will feature your actions on the Trash Hack website and share them with as many people as possible. We will also create a short video of the most engaging contents we will have received. And then in early May, we will come together again for another global online meeting where we would like to give you the opportunity to share, discuss, and celebrate your trash hacks together. In mid-May, UNESCO is organizing the World Conference on ESD in Germany. And we will invite a few of you to present the best trash hacks and, based on your learnings, share messages with policymakers about the education you want. Throughout the process, you'll be receiving emails from us step by step with relevant information and guidance. So if you may have missed some infos now, don't worry, we will send it all via email again. But let's now move to the next session, which is starting to point you to the guide and to documenting your trash hacks and to create great contents. I pass the ball to our partner for this launch event, the Foundation for Environmental Education, to give you some ideas, tips, and advice from the young reporters for the Environment Project. Goja, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, and thank you for inviting us and being part of this campaign. Welcome everyone, and it's a pleasure to be part of this meeting today with you. Eric, will you share my presentation? Or should I start by my own? Okay. Thank you so much. So let me to take you through a few slides about how to celebrate and share your campaign, because it's important to take actions, but it's also so important to talk about these actions and share them with others to raise awareness and encourage other people also to join and learn from your experience. Next slide, please. I'm representing Foundation for Environmental Education. We are the largest environmental education organization on the world, focused on hands-on, active-based positive actions, promote sustainable development through global environmental education. Some of you are probably familiar with some of our programs, like we run 5 educational programs. The 3 of them are school-based programs, like Eco Schools, Learning About Forests, and Young Reporters for the Environment, and 2 tourism eco-labels program like Blue Flag and Green Key. Next one, please. Today, I would like to tell you more of some tips that comes from the program Young Reporters for the Environment. This program is open for students from age 11 to 25 years old who would like to express their voices about environmental issues through photography, video, journalism, and writing articles. We are trying to empower young people to take a stand on environmental issues. Next one, please. And this Young Reporters for the Environment offers students a platform to research environmental solutions and promote them through investigative reporting, photography, and video journalism. And on those 3 aspects, we will go through this presentation. So next one, please. And about the videography. On our website and also linked to the UNESCO website, you can find small video tutorial about how to make interesting video. You don't need to have developed skills. You don't need to have advanced equipment to actually create an interesting video. Here we will show you only 30 seconds of this video tutorial, and the rest you can watch after the meeting. Yes, please.
First tip, forget about those old film reels and Super 8 video camera your dad used to use. That's old school. It's not the 1980s anymore. Now we have a powerful camera in our pocket. Selfies!
Just because technology is changing and making our lives easier, it doesn't mean it's all you need.
You always need a good story.
So check out our Writing 101 video on finding the right story and angle.
But once you have that, how do you show it on screen? Well, here's how.
Thank you. So all these tips you can see on our websites and underneath the Trash Hack campaign as well, and learn more. There are 2 types of videos that you might think that you will create through this to celebrate and to share the stories from your Trash Hack. One is a reportage type of video. And here we will show you also a very short example of video created by a student from New Zealand. And the rest of the video you can watch also later on after this webinar.
New Zealanders are proud of the fact that they have one of the cleanest countries in the world. But just because you can't see the litter, it doesn't mean it's not there. In fact, each year a shocking 2.5 million tonnes of waste is buried in New Zealand's landfills. Out of all that waste, 90% is plastic packaging. But even more frightening is the fact that 8.8 million tonnes of plastic packaging a year go into the oceans worldwide. And this is something that everyone needs to take responsibility for.
Thank you. When you will watch this video as a full screen, it's a 3-minute video, you will see also that it includes reportages, it includes interviews, it includes research and some data information. And this is what makes the video reportage good. And here are some tips. But also it's important to include some interviews. It's important to make some research, to create and talk about the solutions for reducing waste, or the solutions how to create a circular economy circle at your school at home. And also what is the most important in creating any stories, it's to have fun and make it interesting and learn from this also what you are doing. And remember, you don't need expensive equipment to this, and just focus on the story that you would like to tell through this. And the next one. So some quick tips for making the video reportage. As I mentioned before, once you have the idea what the story you would like to tell to us, it's good to write a short script. And through this script, you have to include interviews. Good reportage is also, the most crucial part is to go to the people and ask them questions. And you might think to interview the local mayor, maybe head teacher at the school, maybe your colleagues or friends, or also teachers at school, or even parents. Once you will find what the angle of your story you would like to focus on this. Is it littering on the streets, or maybe recycling in your local municipality, or some other angles, or production of some products, or going to the local grocery and interview also people that are buying things there, or they are owners of the shops. Create the questions and build the questions as open-ended way, and also be engaged during this interview. So ask, react, and clarify and improvise during this interview, because that will make your story interesting. Also, after the interview, once you think that you have great interview and you actually would like to present the whole story in your video, think as well to make it interesting, not only using the head of the person who's talking, but maybe interrupt this video also with some small shots of the person doing some actions, or taking some activities or other pictures that you will record during this preparation. So using those tips, it will make your video reportage really fantastic. The next one. And the last type of video that I would like to share with you, it's a campaign type of video. It's a completely different story. And through this campaign, you don't need to interview people, but you might highlight, maybe you will highlight some interesting problem, maybe a solution. Maybe you will just invite people to actually join your local trash hack campaign. Here we can see a short campaign video that is recorded by students from Portugal. As you can see, this video has no interviews, no speech, but it's really, really powerful. So I hope you will take this as an inspiration for your trash hacks. And next slide. And also here some tips more about some technicalities for the video. So as I was telling before, you don't need specialized equipment. You just need to, you can use your mobile phone and some programs that can be downloaded for mobiles to cut the videos. Remember about lights, remember about recording the sound. Even if you don't have professional microphone, you can use the small microphone at your headphones. And once recording this or making some interviews, just make sure that this microphone is close to the person that you are interviewing. And build your crew. You can do it with student mates at school, and the class can be split into the different groups. But you can, if it's your school is on the lockdown, it can be done also with students at home, with the siblings, or with help of the students living nearby if they are able to meet. We are saying the ideal crew for making a video is 3 people. So one is a director and the person who's responsible for interviewing people, the person who's holding the camera and taking care of lights, and someone who's recording the sound and carrying microphones. The next one. If you want to learn more about taking videos and about videography, as Katja was mentioned before, we are going to run a webinar on 16th of February. Here is the link to the webinar, and the information about this will be also shared through the UNESCO channel, so you will be invited to join the webinar. And the next one. And as we were talking that you can celebrate and share your stories through the videos, you might also think that it's worth to share them through the photo stories. And for this, you can create also some posters, banners, and ask students to gather and organize local march and raise the awareness and inform local community about the problems on trash hacks and your activities. But also, if you are on lockdown, you can even ask students to create actually posters and banners and share them through with pictures through the windows or on the balconies. It might be also another idea. And the next one. Also, you can organize the local cleanup activities as picking litters on the streets and near the seacoast or in the forest, and document it through the photos or videos. Next. During the lockdown, sometimes it might be difficult to organize a group gathering. So the good idea will be also to organize mini seminar or conference at the school ground that will be run online. And during this meeting, you can share your ideas, what can be done by students individually or in the group, or how some video can be recorded from the activities that you are doing. But also you can celebrate your trash hacks through the seminar at the end, even inviting parents or local representatives of the local municipalities, and take a screenshot from that meeting and share this online. Next one. As it's important to remember, once you are sharing those stories, please remember to tag and use the hashtags for UNESCO Trash Hack campaign and also others that are presented on the website. We will share those links and hashtags with you later after the webinar. And just one small tips for all the countries and facing difficulties of the lockdown. And it's impossible to organize activities via school. You can also join the activities individually, and the students can organize the small litter pickup with parents and also share and document them and submit on the UNESCO website. If we go to the next slide. On the UNESCO, the Trash Hack website, or also to our competition, YRE Stay Active mini competition that is presented on our website. And then you can submit some videos and photo stories also for the competition, that some of the best stories will be awarded at the end. So thank you so much. And if you have any questions, you can post them on chat, and we will come back to this at the end of this webinar if there will be time for it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gosia. I'm very happy to have you on this campaign, as I myself also, I was one of the jury members of this YRE competition that Gosia is in charge. And we have seen so many beautiful videos and news articles and so on. And I'm sure that your tips would then inspire ASP.NET community as well. And we can produce also interesting videos that come through. Well, today now, this is the very important session that I'm going to start, to invite some of the participants, teacher and some students from around the world to present their actions, how they do to participate in this trash hack, what they have done. So the first presenter is Philip Odeka. He's a teacher from Nairobi, in Kenya, International School, one of the best performing schools in East and Central Africa. So I will let Philip take the floor and tell us what you do. Hi, Philip.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thank you. I'm very happy to have you. So please start your presentation, Philip.
I'm also grateful. I would like to request the presenter, if you have the presentation, I don't mind you sharing, but still then I have it here. So do I share, or it will be shared from the others? Oh, Eric will do it. Thank you, Eric. Right, thank you for giving me this opportunity. As the introduction that has been done, I'm Philip Odeka from Nairobi International School, based in Nairobi, which is the capital city of Kenya. I work at Nairobi International School, and our agenda has been very clear. As you can see in the photo, that is me taking care of the litter that has been dumped near our school. This has been a long fight, and so I put forward clear instructions on how we can do waste management. This actually was aimed at reducing littering along the road that leads to our school.
Philip, disable.
Pardon?
No, it's okay for me.
Okay, sorry. Please go ahead, Philip.
Thank you. I hope you can hear me. Right, so I say that this was my main agenda last year before a COVID-19 pandemic. I had an idea shared by our director, who is Mrs. Lee, to take control. This hasn't been very easy because in order to do this, we were to engage with the local community and the county so that we are able to implement it. Unfortunately, after the beginning, I think towards the end of March, we were not able to continue with this. But all the same, I managed to carry out some program where we used the water container stops to make the lampshades. As you can see at our assembly area, they look very beautiful, and this has enabled us do a kind of reuse instead of dumping the litter around the school, and at the same time dumping them where it is unnecessary. So the beauty is created, and of course reuse is realized. We could move to the next slide. We have also embarked on reuse by collecting newspapers. This, of course, is mainly aimed at producing pencils. And you'll realize that the normal pencils are used, are made of wood. But here, the cover is used, we have used newspapers. In this case, we are not able to burn them. Of course, that will bring pollution. We are not able to, we are not throwing them away to infiltrate the environment. So we are making best use of what has been used in order to come up with a new product. At the same time, we are reducing the cutting of trees. In this case, we are reducing and of course, making it possible to conserve the environment. And at the same time, water catchment areas improved. Okay. At the bottom there, you can see again, the bottom part of the water containers have been actually made from what we use to carry water. So what has been used is again used to make some beautiful environment. Now, moving forward, maybe the next slide, we have segregation of litter. And as we had heard in previous questions, we have plastic container, paper container, and also biodegradable, which of course is organic. In this case, we are also adding the fourth container, which is to help us in containing the COVID-19 waste, like the masks. You know, I work in a school environment, so you could find that students who are not well informed could dispose them without taking care. So this segregation is helping us know what is supposed to be where and what is supposed to be disposed appropriately to avoid even more infections that is currently taking place. Probably the next one, yes, we've got a collection of used plastic bottles. This, of course, as we say, in terms of the litterless campaign, we are able to consolidate them and call upon those who are doing refuse collection, take them to the industry and come up with new products. From there, we are able to maintain the cleanliness of the environment, which is a big problem in Nairobi in particular, because people don't care. But my work now is to sensitize and inform the local communities of the danger that is posed by the trash all over. So I believe this campaign will continue. And as we launch the trash hack, I'm happy to join and work together so that we can realize this common goal. I believe it will work. With the support of all of us, this will work, because our school has actually put this as their key point in maintaining and conserving the environment. And also the last part is implementing the ESD in our curriculum so that each and every teacher is able to work together with our program. And this will be achieved as a collective responsibility.
Thank you very much, Philip. What an amazing, inspiring activities that you're leading. And I'm sure that would inspire us all. Thank you. And also connecting the curriculum part with ESD. That's really brilliant. Thank you very much. Let's move to the next presenter. Brothers, Josh and Max from Northern Ireland, UK. Lovely to have you both. Please say hello and start your presentation. Josh and Max.
Thanks, Julie. Thank you for inviting us to take part in today's webinar to launch the Trash Hack campaign. I'm Josh and my brother Max is also in the Zoom, and I'm 16 and he's 14. And we're both pupils at the Wallace High School in Lisburn in Northern Ireland.
We have both been passionate about the environment since we were knee-high, and have been known to wield lightsabers in the war against waste. Our trash hack all started with an email from our geography teacher about the wiry and litterless competition back in 2018. The topic was food waste, which I have to admit we didn't know much about, so we got researching.
When we started to look at the facts and figures for the project, we were horrified to discover that 1/3 of all food produced worldwide is either lost or wasted. And that amounts to 1.3 billion tons of food waste. And when you take into account that 1 in 9 people around the world are hungry, that in our eyes made food waste a crime against humanity.
That's what gave us our idea for our trash hack. We decided to do a campaign video in the form of a food waste crime report. So true to form, we donned our costumes. After all, humor always engages, and set about reporting food waste atrocities.
And here's a 15-second clip from our video.
You didn't share the sound.
Simon, can you try again with the sound?
There is a current wave of fear that this cell has infiltrated all levels of society. How real a threat is this?
Unfortunately, very real. No home is safe. Midnight raids have uncovered festering foods in chaotic fridges.
Don't be fooled by the wigs. The underlying messaging aim was very serious. We wanted to challenge the viewer as to whether they were a hero or a villain when it came to food waste, and to hopefully prick their conscience a bit too. Although the video ends with a finger pointing outwards, we were also very wary that there were 3 pointing back at ourselves. We realized that researching for the video had even pricked our own consciences too.
We were able to use our video to share our message at school assembly, on Facebook and Twitter, and on the Wiry exposure page, and have hopefully encouraged many of our friends and families to make changes in their own bad food waste habits, as well as our wider viewers.
We were delighted to be awarded first place in the Wiry 2018 International Litterless Campaign competition for our campaign video. And on the back of the win, we were invited to talk at the Green Schools Global Goals Conference in Dublin.
We even had a moment of TV fame when we were interviewed on food waste by a local news station. You could say that we were on a roll, and in 2019, we entered the Wiry Litterless competition again, this time with a campaign photograph, and unbelievably, we were awarded an international first place again. Since then, we were invited to chair a workshop at the Eco Schools Youth Summit in Belfast, which unfortunately had to be cancelled because of COVID.
If we could give any tips or advice to anyone, we would say that no matter how insignificant you feel your trash sack is, just go for it, because small changes can make a big difference. Thanks for listening.
Thank you very much to you both. What an exciting video that you've shown us. Too bad that we could not see the entire part, but I'm sure that we could access to the link that we can share. I think this is such a great example that each one of the students could become a great communicator. It could become a messenger of what a little thing can do to make the world different. Thank you very much for sharing. Beautiful story, and congratulations again on your first place. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, now let's move to the third presenter of today from Asian Pacific. Lily's an English teacher from Jakarta, lab school Kebayoran, it is a school name, sorry, an English teacher, and also a student also from the same school, Rajva. And I think they would also present to us a very nice a song. I will let you take the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Julia. Yes, greeting from Indonesia, everyone. We are from SMP Lab School Kebayoran. I'm Lilis, and my student Rajwa are going to share to you about our trash hack. Before we proceed, please do enjoy our trash hack song. Please do, Eric.
If you're lucky, it will bring you awesome cash. Like a soda can turn into Wi-Fi extender. Empty plastic bottle can transform into some furniture. You know that bread tags can be used as cord labels. Toilet paper tube will help to organize your cables. Reduce, reuse, recycle is a way of life. That's how we'll bring this Mother Earth back to alive.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, well, our trash hack is not only about the song entitled Let's Change for the World that you have just watched, but also our real actions to tackle waste, maintaining the character of eco-friendliness among our school community. For one thing sure, the teachers implement the 3 R's in the teaching and learning process involving the students and project-based learnings. The schools also hold events related to ESD, as well as providing facilities such as water fountain, trash cans, and then the liquid composter, and then also e-waste container, and our lovely Sky Science Park for the students to take care of the plants. Rajua, please.
Okay. Now, why do we take actions? The inspiration actually comes from the environment around us. The school was dirty, we still found trash scattered, the river in the park nearby is smelly, and the natural disasters are scary. We felt sad about the fact, but we thought that there was no word for being too late. We could have changed the habit of littering. It was not easy to start, but we believed with our little effort would later make a big change. If it's not us, then who else?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, thanks to the Trash Act song, we've received positive feedback and also support. We feel more enthusiastic to combat waste, and then we develop our eco-friendly character. And what is more, our school becomes much, much cleaner. So, fellow teachers and students, so many things we can do to combat waste. Okay, in any forms interesting, using technology, and also our social media.
Thank you very much.
Your trash could be someone's treasure. Be creative, find some pleasure. That's all from us. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you so much, Lilies and Lajwa. Very inspiring song that really enchanted us so much. And not earlier, of course, we've seen nice slides and also a video, like a news production by two boys. And now it's a song. Actually, I understand that it was composed, and also lyrics was also written by the students. So I think that children have this amazing food for thought, and that could also move this Trash Hack campaign into a very inspiring direction. So thank you very much to you all three for sharing. And I hope that we would receive many from those participants and teachers. Please mobilize your students to send us videos and any interesting ideas that how we could move and inspire people together around the world. Thank you very much. I would now like to maybe move to the question and answer session. If we have received some comments or questions, Katya and Lily, can I let you maybe take some?
Yes, fantastic. Thank you very much, Julie. And thank you all for sharing your trash hacks with us. That was so inspiring. I know that I'm ready to go out there and start trash hacking, and I hope everybody else is too. We're getting a lot of questions on the chat about some technical things that we will be wanting to share with you. So firstly, the French and the Spanish versions of the guide will be available shortly. At the moment, it's just in English, but we are going to be providing in those languages as well. Rest assured, if you're part of this webinar and you've signed up with your email address, we will be sending you the guide after, as long as lots of different FAQs that have been asked in the chat and any other key information, as well as the link to the Trash Hack website and what to do next. We will also, when the French and Spanish versions of the guide are available, we will send them to you all as well so that you've got those links. You can find the English guide right now in the chat of this of the Zoom, and we will be sending it around as well after the chat. We will share you the Trash Hack website, and maybe even just, I might just really quickly share my screen if that's okay with you, Eric, just so I can show you what the Trash Hack website looks like. So everyone, I'm just going to share there. So everyone now can be seeing the screen that I've got up in front of you. This is the Trash Hack website, which I've shared with you in the chat. You have all of the different tabs, which has lots of different inspiration from young people around the world. And it has the school tab, which has been launched. It has a link to download the guide, to register your interest, links to the UNESCO ASP.NET and to FEE, as well as different articles which will be popping up throughout the campaign and we'll be sharing with you. There is one article about how to share your trash hacks with us, and we'll send that around to you all as well after this so that you can find out. You can also see on the website that we will be sharing schools trash hacks from schools around the world as great inspiration. So in that part of the website, which tells you how to share your trash hacks, there's all the information about how to get featured there. Katya, I think you had a question about connecting different schools. I'll stop sharing my screen now.
Thank you, Lily. Yes, we received a question actually ahead of the webinar already when participants were registering from our dear colleague in Japan, Professor Kobayashi. And he asked whether there's any possibility to build a new connection to other ASP.NET schools engaging on the topic and for setting up exchange meetings. So Professor Kobayashi, thank you for the great question. And it's a clear yes, we will absolutely make sure that there will be a way of connecting with each other in terms of participating schools. So we really want to encourage that. It's one of our goals as a network to connect members with each other. And when we have a great initiative like that, it's a great moment to do that. So we can envision that schools identify partner institutions and then start exchanging maybe around what are their ideas for trash hacks, how are they going to implement them. Maybe during the implementation, there can be some exchanges of how is it going, what are some of the challenges, what are some also of the learnings that are taking place. And then also at the end to really celebrate and share together what has been achieved. So we will be following up on how this will happen with all those of you who are here today. We have all of your emails and we will also be sending this to all of the ASP.NET national coordinators to share it with the networks in the countries so that you all know how this will happen. So don't worry if you missed some information today, we will be following up via email with you. Back to you, Lily, for other questions that might have been raised.
Yes, we had one about how to join the YRE competition and how to get involved with YRE. And I'd just like to throw to Gosya and ask her to respond to that because she's best placed to do so.
Thank you so much, Lily. So if you are interested also to be part of the Young Reporters for the Environment program, you just go to our website. I will type the link on the chat. And then you will find information about the countries who can participate in the YRE competition. And all information, the deadline for the competition is in May, but you have to come through your national operators in the country. In a case you don't have, your country is not part of the YRE program, you can just join directly the Trash Hack campaign and participate through this. But if you are the member of the FEE network and the YRE program, you can just find all the useful information on the website. And anyway, even if you are not part of the program, you are welcome to join all the webinars that we are running frequently. And also information about the webinars is on our website. As I mentioned, the closest one on 16th of February will be about videography, but there are other webinars that are every month or every second week.
Thank you, Gosya. I also am just getting a lot of more questions around whether or not we will be recording this presentation. Yes, of course we will. We will be sending it out to all of the people who've been part of this event today. We will also be putting it up on that trashhack.org/schools website that I shared with you before. And you can all find the information after the webinar, including FAQs, including the video, including how to share your trash hacks, how to be involved there. Or you can send them to trashhack@unesco.org. And I will put that email address in the chat for you to contact with any questions that you might have about the campaign. Katya, did you have any other questions from your side or any other responses that you would like to go through?
Maybe one question I received and I saw by several participants, which was about criteria for participation. And so for trash hacking, there is no criteria for participation. The only thing that it takes is your motivation to want to trash hack. And then we would be keen to see how you've trash hacked. And please send us your photos, your videos, your MP3s, your texts about what you did. And then we will be starting to feature those on the website as Lily was just presenting to you. So there's no criteria. If you're motivated to go ahead, please engage your students and start trash hacking.
Absolutely. So one thing that we've been asked about this guide and about the campaign is that, of course, we are looking in the next 6 months to feature your trash hacks, or before May, in fact, the next 3 or 4 months, to feature your trash hacks at trashhack.org/schools. That said, the guide that we've created can be used whenever. It can be used in 1 year's time, 2 years' time. It's meant to be a launching point for your school if your school hasn't worked with trash before, or worked with their waste and sustainability systems before, but also to start thinking about education for sustainable development and how it can be integrated into your curriculum at your school. So although we're looking for the next few months for you to be sharing those wonderful videos, pictures, articles, anything you would like to celebrate with us, we can also be looking to work with you in the next few years in different ways. And yes, the guide is there for your use for forever. Kati, if we have no more questions, should we send it back to Julie to send to June? Hi, Julie.
Thank you very much. Well, I think it's now pass the ball to our colleague June to represent ESD. Thank you, June, for your closing remark.
Hi, thank you. First of all, can you hear me?
Yes,
okay.
Very well.
Thank you. So my role is to close this webinar, which was quite full of information, and it was really great to see concrete actions already happening. And I was really impressed the different presentations about the eco school approach, food waste crime report. It's really sending a very strong message, and I think it's really a good example, and I hope other schools will also pick it up. And also this approach of producing song in Indonesia, students and teachers are so talented, culturally speaking, so this was also very nice to see. As my director, Vibeke Jensen, who spoke to open today's webinar, as she said, when schools, teachers, and students come together to call for change, the world will listen. So I hope we can stay together to keep raising voices. And for me, the question of trash is an interesting entry point to discuss sustainable development, because trash is somehow a big dilemma, because it challenges maybe my own lifestyle, which is not perfectly sustainable, not especially necessarily respectful for the challenges of the planet. And also it reminds me a lot about the unsustainable, unfortunately, production or consumption and all the inequalities happening around the globe. So trash is somehow explain us about the complexity of all these challenges, which are framed by Agenda 2030, all these SDG goals. So I think what I would like to say is, once again, of course, the ASP will remain the major platform, but this Trash Hack School program does not only targeting ASP, and we really would like to count on your collaboration to bring other schools who are not yet part of the ASP schools. And I guess there are many community-based also education institutions and kids who are not included necessarily in the formal education system. So I hope this project can also support this more inclusive quality education through the Trash Hack campaign. Now, I really come to the end, and I would like to thank, first of all, of course, the government of Japan for the generous support. All the presenters, especially Mr. Odeka, Mr. Max and Josh, Mrs. Musharova, Miss Bandita, and of course, our partner, Miss Lucek from FEE. We are really looking forward to discuss how more closely working together. And of course, interpreters who are behind the scene, and all the technicians who have been really working with us very closely. And finally, my colleagues who really worked very hard day and night to put all this together. And finally, the audience, everyone who joined. I saw that the number of participants at the highest, it was around 570, if I'm not mistaken. So let's come back all together to celebrate in May. And now let's kick off our work today. Thank you so much and stay safe and well. Goodbye.
Thank you, Jen. So now that brings us to the end of our launch webinar. Again, of course, we would like to thank all of you and Fee and teachers and students, ASP.NET national coordinators, and as June said, that we really thank to all who are here, including, of course, the interpreters and, of course, CLD colleague. Thank you very much for supporting us as well. And now, before we say goodbye, please join us for one more Mentimeter. Can you see the screen again? Could you also use again this code, QR code, or type in this www.menti.com, and this time code is 2383139. The question is, what is the biggest takeaway from this webinar today? I think we'd love to hear your sentiment, your passion, aspirations. So what is the biggest takeaway from this webinar? That's the question. Please type in your answer. And while you are responding to the question, we will listen to the song of our ASP.NET School Indonesia. Let's change for the world again.
Sound of birds singing.
Simon, can you, I don't know if the song is possible. I think we'd love to listen again, but if not, technically difficult. Let's see what people write in to us. What is your biggest takeaway from this webinar? And if possible, the song at the back is possible. Thank you very much. I cannot actually, can you make the slide a little larger, the font, if possible?
It's a beautiful night. Sound of birds. The wind breeze shaking the leaves. Sweet smell of flowers lingering in everyone's memory. But now it's been polluted. This place has been disrupted. Can you hear us cry, shouting in despair? Skies are glooming day by day. Oils and oceans reach the bay. Plastic, paper, glass, that will be a nightmare.
Thank you very much again to all. Let's trash hack. Allons-y, trash hack. Vamos a trash hack.
So many things that we
Goodbye.
can make from a trash. If
Beautiful words coming in. Thank you very much to all. We could all share these words. Thank you.
Organize your cables, reduce, reuse, recycle is a way of life. That's how we'll bring this Mother Earth back to life.
But now it's been polluted. This place has been destructed. Can you hear us cry, shouting in despair? Skies are glooming day by day. Oils and oceans reach the bay. Plastic, paper, glass, that will be a nightmare. Your trash could be someone's treasure. Be creative, find some pleasure. Don't litter your trash away. Change it in a mystical way. Let's pick and change our behavior. Keep fighting, become a savior. All we want is live on earth, as majestic as a tree bird. But now it's been polluted. This place has been destructed. Can you hear us cry, shouting in despair? Skies are glooming day by day. Oils and oceans reach the bay. Plastic, paper, glass, that will be a nightmare.
Thank you to all. Thank you to all. Let's trash hack.